Hello and welcome to episode 1, or the introductory part of what may or may not become a long-running series of monologues whilst I talk to a mobile phone that's on a CD shelf somewhere in a house somewhere in Britain. Just to give you an idea of why we're doing this, it's the 10th of October 2020. We are in, I think, day 203 of the COVID-19 End of the World series. No news yet about a conclusion, although clearly I would very much love this particular plotline to be cancelled, as well as the Donald Trump plotline and the one about the climate change and catastrophe that goes with it, and also obviously everything else that goes with that as well. I would quite like us to go back into a time machine, back to the 80s, when I had a full head of hair and when everything was not on fire. Although, obviously, looking at the contents of my record and CD collection, you might be very fair to think I'm already living there, although clearly I'm not. So I'm sitting here in what is probably politely best described as a man cave, and I'm talking through, obviously, over the however many episodes of this I do. It could be 2, it could be 2,000. I could end up actually making a habit out of this. I have no idea. What we're going to do is just talk through whatever comes to my mind, and if you've got any suggestions, unless they're shut up, at which point please keep them to yourself. If you've got any suggestions, ideas, topics, or anything like that, comment, tweet me. I might regret saying that, knowing what Twitter's like, or somehow just let me know. I've already had a number of suggestions from people that have very politely indulged my egotism and suggested a few things that I could talk about. The question you're not asking is, why on earth would anybody be interested in a middle-aged bald bloke with a beard and a band t-shirt talking at a camera endlessly about whatever nonsense comes to his head? And I'll be really honest about it, I have no idea, but I'm not going to complain. I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to see how it goes, and we will just go through it. At the moment, because my technical skills are very limited, and I'm just trying this out, it's just a man sitting in front of a mobile phone begging it to somehow not make him look awful, and hopefully that is going to succeed. I'll tell you what inspired me to do this, really. I was shaving my head. Now, you may think I don't need to do that. I have to be really blunt about it. If I don't do it about every 4 days, I end up looking like a Conservative MP, and that is not a good look for me. I don't like that particular look. And I had YouTube on, and YouTube kind of went through various videos because it has its automatic suggestion algorithms and filters. Netflix does the same thing. So, I absent-mindedly watched 5 minutes of The Hunt for Hitler's Nazi Gold Train, and then for about the next 3 years on Netflix, all my suggestions were about Nazis, Hitler, trains, big pieces of engineering, the Holocaust, abandoned engineering. Actually, my Virgin TV box recorded something like 24 series of Virgin of abandoned engineering off, I don't know, the Bloke channel. And for some reason, when I was looking through the recordings, and I went, I haven't recorded that much stuff. How come I've got no space on my enormous hard drive? I suddenly realised it had something like 264 episodes of abandoned engineering, where people talk about buildings or the world's biggest, I don't know, the world's biggest crane or something. I was like, dude, I only watched 5 minutes of The Hunt for Hitler's Nazi Gold Train. I'm not that interested, okay? I'm a bloke, I'm middle-aged, I'm very boring, as you may very well find out, but I'm not that interested in bits of abandoned engineering. I might go on to Google and look at the Google Earth map of, let's say, the air studios in Montserrat, where the Rolling Stones recorded Steel Wheels and where the Police recorded, I think, Synchronicity, and Michael Jackson recorded, and I might see the post-volcanic eruption version of those studios, and think, wow, that's interesting. But I'm not going to record 264 episodes of it. Algorithms are responsible for an awful lot of very bad things in the world, unless, of course, those algorithms go, you might want to watch this bloke called Mark talking about things, at which point I suggest it's fascinating and you please carry on watching. But anyway, whilst I was doing that, one of the algorithms automatically kind of played on, and I ended up, whilst shaving my head, having a video about the Beatles and somebody unboxing one of their many, many, many box sets. And I watched it and I just thought, I can do better than that. That's quite boring. And I'm not that interested in, even if it could be an interesting subject, it's an interesting subject that was told in an uninteresting way. I'm quite bitchy. You'll notice that over time. But hopefully not rebellious, but bitchy. And I watched it, I was just like, I'm bored, mate. I'm not interested in hearing you talk absolute nonsense from a position where you don't actually know what you're talking about a band that everybody knows about. You know, watching a YouTube video where someone tells you about how good the Beatles are, it's kind of going, guys, have you tried air? Have you tried breathing? It's fantastic, you should try it. Also, I like to point out that everybody that breathes oxygen eventually dies. So breathing too much oxygen could possibly be fatal. But that sits under the capacity of lies, and damn statistics. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this cup down here. See, amateur, should have done that earlier before. And later on, we're going to talk about, or more correctly, I'm going to talk to you, whilst nobody watches, about the recent set of Kraftwerk vinyl reissues and remasters that have been released yesterday. But first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this up on YouTube, hopefully not be too embarrassed about it, and hopefully some of you may possibly want to watch this again. If at any point in the future we get to the end of this COVID pandemic, season 1 is cancelled, there's a happy ending, and then, you know, let's say God comes down in a stream of lights and tells us all that everything's going to be fine and we were all living in a bad simulation and he wants to press the button and start again in a land which doesn't have Donald Trump in it, then should that happen, absolutely great. I will cease doing all of this, and if it doesn't, I guess we'll just find out what happens next over the next however many years and months and days that feel like months, and months that feels like years, and years that feel like decades around what's going on. So I'm going to press the stop button now. I'm going to upload this to YouTube. I'm probably going to be very, very embarrassed about it. I'm probably going to watch it and go, my God, my voice doesn't sound like that, surely. And then maybe I'll do the thing about Kraftwerk later on. But for now, it's the 10th of October 2020. It's day 203 of Pandemic Clock, and I am just bored of sitting in my house, going nowhere, doing nothing, not seeing bands, not seeing friends, and I just want to talk to somebody, anybody, about anything apart from Hitler's Nazi gold train. So I'm going to press stop now, and hopefully I'll see you again. Goodbye for now.